S39, war number 8, and we are up against Legion. This time my team will be Pryde, Dr. Doom, and Professor X. And Professor X is a Do rank 4. I took him up specifically for this war. I'm taking Path 5 in Section 1, as well as that America Chavez, Nick Fury on the Scared Stiff node, Path 5 in Section 2, as well as that Nova and Longshot. And then I'm gonna be taking a Vision Aarkus mini-boss there on the Falter node, and finally an Ebony Maw boss. And that boss is why I took Professor X to rank 4, right before joining the war action. First up we have a Wong on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Pryde. And I'm not running the recoil masteries because the next fight is a fight that I need to take with Professor X to ramp him up a little bit, and the recoil masteries don't really work too well with him. Now the game plan here is to basically just take Wong down slowly but surely with basic attacks until he's low enough for me to finish him off with a special 3. I'm gonna be trying to bait his special 2s instead of the special 1s, because the special 1s activate his spells, and without them he doesn't really do anything as a defender, so as long as you can deal with the special 2, you should be just fine. Now, since he did use a couple special 1s here, he did trigger a couple spells, and now whenever I trigger a buff, he will go unstoppable because of that blue spell. He will also still go unstoppable whenever he uses a heavy attack, because that is just something that he does, and you just need to be ready for it. That being said, this is a pretty simple and easy fight for Pryde, and well, it takes a little bit longer here because I'm not running the recoil masteries. Her basic attacks don't hit that hard without them, so the fight does take a bit longer than I would like it to. But Pryde counters basically anything that he does, so no risk of death here. Now he's low enough, so I went ahead and parried him, dropped a heavy to knock him down to remove the protection, and then dropped my special 3 in the hopes of finishing him off. It didn't, it left him at 1%, but then he went ahead and hit into my face, and that finished him off. Pretty simple kill fight, and no real risk of anything bad happening there. Next up we have a Mr. Negative on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X. Now I don't have the mutant power boosts active for this one, and I will not be going for special 3 spams like you normally would with Professor X. Instead, I saved my mutant power boosts for the next day when I get to clear my Section 2, just because they aren't as easy to get anymore than they once were. So I gotta be very careful when I'm using them and when I'm not using them. Now the game plan here with Professor X is to build up to 100 channeling charges before dropping any specials. Once I'm up there, I knock down the defender to remove the protection, and then I start spamming specials. Before using specials, I try to charge up my heavy attack, because if you cancel channeling or charging your heavy attack with a special, you get an extra prowess buff, giving you more damage. That is, in my experience, the best way to play him. You can also cancel your special animations by throwing a light attack, then charging heavy and dropping a special, but simply just charging your heavy straight after a special is enough to get the extra prowess, as long as you wait just a little bit for the channeling to actually start. And now we have an America Chavez on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Pryde. And this is a fight that I have taken plenty of times before, and this one is basically the same as all the other ones. I'm gonna be baiting her special 1s or special 2s, either or, and then I'm gonna be phase blocking them instead of blocking or dexing them. Phase blocking gives me power, it prevents her from gaining power from Mystic Dispersion if I were to dex it, and I avoid all the damage anyways by doing so. It's simply just the best way to deal with her specials while you're using Kitty Pryde. And the game plan here is to just take her down slowly with basic attacks, and then when she's low enough, I remove the protection, drop the special 3, and then just hope that it's enough damage. And usually it is. To speed up the fight, I do knock her down every once in a while to remove the protection, and that's not really necessary, but since I'm not running the recoil masteries again, it does help speed up things. And time is also very important in these tier 1 alliance wars. If you tie on attack bonuses, the time is what works as a tiebreaker, so you have to keep that in mind. Obviously, if you'd rather choose between safety and being fast, you would wanna go safe, because the attack bonuses is what matters the most. Next up we have a Nick Fury on the Scared Stiff and Power Focus 2 nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Kitty Pryde. Now, looking back, I probably should have done this with Professor X to gain another charge on him early on, but I've taken this fight with Kitty Pryde before, so I was very comfortable doing that. I do have the mutant power boosts active here, so to use those and to speed up the fight a bit, I will be using specials here, which is not something I usually do with Kitty Pryde, especially against Nick Fury. Now, I usually like to keep my prowess against Nick so that I can deal with his special ones, but on this node I would rather not bait his special ones at all, because the animation takes so long that the root node has a chance to trigger, and that's not really something I wanna deal with. So as far as the game plan goes, I'm simply baiting his special 2s, taking him down with basic attacks for the most part, then one big special 2 there in the middle of the fight to speed things up a bit, and now we are in his second life. In his second life the game plan stays the same, but instead of using any specials here to take him down a bit faster, I'm simply just gonna wait for him to tick down on his own, then take him a little bit lower before dropping my special 3 to finish him off. The annoying part about the second life is his stun immunity, which makes it so that I can't really stack up my prowesses without actually hitting him. And usually it's not an issue, but it is still a bit risky, so I try to avoid doing that. Now he's low enough so my special 3 does finish him off, and even if it didn't, I do have the mutant power boosts active, and I would be phasing after the special, so there would be no risk of death there either. Now, next up we have a Nova on the Power Snack and One Too Many Hits nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Dr. Doom. The game plan here, well, I wasn't quite sure about it when I went in. I have not used Dr. Doom in Alliance War in a very long time, and well, especially against a fight like this, where I can't really do the Doom cycle because of the power stings. But I figured that since I have the attack bonus and all that, I would still drop the special 3 even when I did have a power sting. Because, well, I figured I'd rather eat the damage than risk getting cornered or something worse. I dropped my special 3 with a power sting active. I was not expecting it to do that much damage, but to my surprise it actually does hurt quite a bit. Not enough to risk death or anything, but definitely enough that I would rather not do that again. But now he's low enough, I got to my special 3, I decided to just drop it, and even though I did have a power sting active on me when I dropped the special, it doesn't matter as long as this special finishes him off. If he dies here, it means the fight is over and I don't take the power sting damage. So it turned out it was a pretty simple fight. Took a bit of damage there, so it will cost a potion, but I'd say that is pretty safe to do. Next up we have a few Professor X fights, so that I can have him fully ramped up for the boss. And this one here is a Hulkling on the Ebb and Flow Intercept node. And, well, the game plan here with Professor X is to just get to my special 3 with full channeling charges, remove the protection, and then spam special 3s until he drops. That is basically what you wanna do with Professor X if you wanna play safe, and it works against most opponents. Now, I say most and not all because, for example, America Chavez can reverse your power gain from the power boosts with her negative zone dimensions, and that would mean that instead of gaining power, you drain your power, and we actually did have some people die against us. I can't remember which war it was, but it was a double KO with Professor X against America Chavez. So that is something you do need to keep in mind. Now I've built channeling charges all the way up to 100, so I'm good to go. What I need to do is just get enough power to my special 3, bait out the special 1, land an intercept to remove the protection, and then just charge my heavy attack, cancel with a special, just to get that extra prowess. It's not really necessary, especially not in path fights. Maybe against boss fights, but yeah, the fight is basically over at this point. I can simply keep spamming special 3s. You don't even see me get out of the animation before I start a new one, and he's gonna drop dead right here. One thing to note against Hulkling specifically is that you don't want to be using your special 3s when he has his indestructible, for obvious reasons. Next up we have a Killmonger on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X, and the game plan is the exact same. I'm building up 100 channeling charges, getting to my special 3, intercepting to remove the protection, and then the fight is over. He will go down by me simply spamming special 3s. Now, Professor X is a great counter for Killmonger on basically any node, except something where you need immunities, because of his non-contact attacks. Only his first medium and the first hit of his special 2, I believe, are contact hits, so you will only be taking reverberation damage on those hits. Everything else is non-contact, so you should be good to hit him even with the reverb active. Now, something weird happens here after my second special 3. So this first one works fine. I got back up to my special 3 with the mutant power boosts, and every time I do this I should get another prowess. I believe, I might be wrong. Either way, this one still does enough damage for me to get to my special 3, but I used a special 2 instead. If you slow down the video there, I was at my special 3 again after the animation, but as soon as I used a special, I was suddenly at my special 2, and I have no idea why, but I believe the cause is using your special 3s consecutively too fast. So when I notice that, I do start using my special 3s with a bit of a delay between them, just to avoid that from happening again, and so far I would say that it has worked. Now, this fight is a Longshot on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge nodes, and I'm taking the fight with Pryde, and we've all seen this fight before by now. The game plan is the exact same. I'm simply gonna be taking him down with basic attacks only, until he is low enough that a special 3 would finish him off. Or rather, that is how the fight is supposed to go, and Pryde works very well against him. So what could go wrong? Well, if you do something stupid and miss a dex on his special 1 while his Pure of Heart is active, you might see something like that happening. The instant bleeds on that special 1 left me at 5% health with Pryde, and I just about had a heart attack there. I got extremely lucky the special 1 did not crit, or otherwise I would have been dead. And after the previous war with my death to Ebony Maw, this one would have been horrible. Now at this point my heart is pounding. I should have taken a break here, but I decided to finish my mini-boss here with the same set of boosts. And I don't even have a game plan for this mini-boss. Like I said before, I haven't used Dr. Doom in Alliance Wars in a while. And here I am, using him against a fight that I haven't even seen anyone do before. I've just been told that it works, so I'm simply going in and making the plan up as I go. Now, this fight is a Vision Aarkus on the power efficiency and missing in action nodes, and I simply just plan on improvising here. I get up to my special 3 first to start a Doom rotation, although I know that it's not gonna work out the same way a normal Doom rotation would, because of all the power gain I'm gonna be getting from MD, from stealing the buffs, as well as the Mystic boosts. So we'll see how this goes. So after the special 3, I drop a Doom rotation combo like you normally would, and then I end up at my special 2. I drop it, and Vision is at his special 3. I can't power burn or train him here, but my Mystic boosts get me back up to a special 1. I use it, and now MD got me back up to a special 1. I used it, and now with the MD and the power gain buffs, I got up to a special 2. I used that as well, and he drops dead. I'd say that went pretty well. Maybe not how I imagined it to go, but hey, it worked out, so I'll take it. Next up we have the main event, an Ebony Maw boss that I'm gonna be taking with a fully ramped up rank 4 Professor X. And this guy is the one and only reason I took Professor X up to rank 4. This season we have been dying to Ebony Maw on my PG basically every single war, no matter who we sent to it, so we decided that something needed to be done. And I was willing to take up Professor X because I do like playing him and I know how to play him. So we decided that I should just do that, and we sent me to Ebony Maws from now on. Now the reason Professor X is great for Ebony Maw, well, the main thing is that he bypasses miss while you are above 25 channeling charges, and that is very easy to get to. You basically need 1 to 2 heavy attacks, you don't have to connect with them, you just have to throw them, and you're fine, you're good to go. Ebony Maw doesn't really do anything after that. Now the other thing here is that he is a global attacker, so he will also be able to cleanse those unsteady debuffs as well as the falter debuffs before you get those 25 channeling charges. Now that's not needed at all, but it is nice to have. Now once I get to my special 3, the fight is over. Ebony Maw is completely locked out of this fight completely. He doesn't get a turn anymore, and he's just gonna be eating special 3s over and over and over again until he eventually dies. And that is exactly why Professor X is one of the most powerful Alliance War champions in the whole game, provided you have access to the mutant boosts. He is of course very powerful even without the mutant boosts, but with them he's just on another level. Now I may have taken Professor X to rank 4 just to slay all the Ebony Maws we ever see in my BG ever again, but I also will be doing a lot more with him. And you're gonna see that in the last few wars I have left for this season, so do check those out. Now real quick before the special 3 finishes him off, the reason why I charge up my heavy attack in between special 3s is because number 1, I get an extra prowess for doing so more damage, and number 2, like we saw against that Killmonger, if I use 2 special 3s back to back too quickly, I don't get to my special 3 for some reason. Now we did end up losing the war 6-11. Another horrible war by us, and I'd be surprised if we even finish Masters this season.